unpack. We unpack, coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack, yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack, coming to you live. Oh, you make me laugh. Y'all tried it. Y'all really, truly tried it. Canelo, payday, you'll want payday. I know that he got some training in with Jaron Boots Ennis and the Bud Buddies. They have absolutely lost their mind. Boots is being called names. Boots is being ridiculed. And in this video, I am going to break down why that is not right and really just provide a breath of fresh air. Man, now, I made a video about it and it's already over 16,000 views. Shout out to everybody for subscribing to the channel, for the cash apps, the super chats, the super thanks. We are a well-oiled machine. I am one person, a one-man army. This allows me to do more on the channel. Now, I made the video, and in the video, I was like, yo, this is a big look for Canelo and a big opportunity for Boots Ennis. Put the video out. It was received well, getting good viewership. Thought no more of it. But while I was eating, I went to the comment section, and I was just responding to a few people, you know, trying to do my service. And I seen there were some negative comments about Boots Ennis. So I checked on my different social medias to look at the post, and you still see negative comments. And just throughout the internet, there are negative comments about Boots, calling him a coon, calling him a sellout. How could you? You're working with Canelo. Bro, some of you guys have lost your mind. And I'm going to break it down in this video. This is by far, at first I thought people were joking or, you know, something I missed or whatever. This is by far one of the dumbest things that I have to make a video about this year, right? People mad at Boots for sparring and training with Canelo Alvarez, bro. And I'm going to break down exactly why this is stupid. So let's start with the simple point. Let me just throw that at y'all. For one, Boots doesn't owe anything to Terence Crawford at all. They're not friends. They're not homies. If anything, Boots was trying to fight Crawford and Errol Spence. So does that make him a coon because he's black from Philly and he wants to fight two black people? Like, what are we talking about, bro? You see how dumb that sounds? So it was okay for him to call out Crawford, want to fight Crawford, want to fight Errol Spence, want to prove himself. But now because he's working with Canelo, or he did, it's a problem. Like, it sounds ridiculous. So again, Boots owes nothing to Terence Crawford. It's not like he's from Omaha and they're childhood friends. Like, I could understand if it was Steve Nelson. That's like Crawford's right-hand man. They're both from Omaha. That wouldn't make sense for him to go over and work with Canelo Alvarez. And he's the size of Canelo Alvarez. Fights in the same division. So it makes sense for Canelo to spar with Steve Nelson. But Steve Nelson wouldn't do that because his allegiance is with Crawford. He helped design some of his outfits and whatnot, and they're friends. So I could understand if Boots was a Steve Nelson, right? Because then that would be some sort of like betrayal, breaking code and all that type of stuff. That would make sense to me. Boots doesn't owe anything to Crawford. Like I said, he wanted to fight Crawford. So that off rip don't even make no sense. That people are mad and saying like, I'm no longer supporting Jaron Boots Ennis because he worked with Canelo Alvarez. And let's talk about this, bro. There's a lot of fake pro-black people in the world of boxing, false prophets, fake FBA dudes, and there are some of the most fakest people in the game, and I will break down and expose and explain why. For starters, why would the first thing that you say to Boots, a black man, a black American fighter, right? Why would the first thing when you hear that he's sparring Canelo, why would the first thing, if you're really pro-black, why would the first thing you say be negative? Just think. Why would it be negative? Instead of seeing the brother come up, he probably got paid for his time from Canelo, who we know got cash, right? So if Canelo was utilizing him for sparring, he probably got paid and compensated well, and maybe even like flown out, because it looked like Canelo Munguia signs were in the back. Like if you look at it, the back of it says Canelo Munguia or Canelo Berlanga, it says. And some of the heavy bags in the footage has the CA Canelo initials on it. So it looked like he had been at least wherever Canelo was training. And look, the no boxing, no life. So it looked like he's in Canelo's gym or where Canelo set up station. So why would the first thing you say be negative? Like, oh, Boots is a traitor. Boots is a coon. Boots is a want, because he's working with Canelo Alvarez, right? Doesn't make sense. One, like I said, he owes nothing to Terence Crawford. That's not his boy. That's not like Shakur Stevenson, somebody who's friends with him. Two, it's an opportunity and a job, right? And this is the problem. I've always used my channel to speak for the underdog, black fighters and Cuban fighters primarily, because they're the ones that old media have targeted. But when you have situations like this and you have these false prophets and fake FBA dudes who are coming out and trying to turn everything racial or turn everything into some like you broke code and all this type of energy, it's like you water it down for the people who really want justice for real black issues, right? So that's a major problem. It waters down the message for the real message. Boots, again, he probably got compensated. Another thing, Canelo, whether you like him or not, Canelo has a wealth of experience. Fought Floyd. He's been under different promotional banners. He's been on different networks. Fought Cotto, fought Golovkin, about to fight Crawford. He has a world of experience. So instead of seeing a brother and a black man and being happy for him that he got picked up and, you know, Canelo is giving him some tutelage, people try to turn it into Boots is a traitor and he sold out his race and all this other goofy stuff. Y'all are some real cornballs, bro. Y'all are some real cornballs. And this is what hurts the game of boxing, right? Crawford, he got his own resources, his own sparring. And to me, it looks like the Bud Buddies are like panicking. That's what it looks like to me. You're panicking because you know that's good work and good sparring, and maybe you want Crawford to win, and you know Canelo did something smart, which is, hey, I'm about to fight this guy who's very talented and he's a switch hitter. Let me get the best switch hitters in the game, right? Another reason why this whole fake outrage towards Boots is very dumb is Canelo's been sparring with black people. In fact, this is my video from a week ago. You guys see it on the screen. Front page, Google, top. I'm the top result, right? And your boy Ego put out a video with 18,000 plus views. It says Canelo Alvarez's black sparring partner leaked, right? For the Terence Crawford fight. So please explain to me why these fake pro-black dudes who now have a problem with Boots, when this information came out, and after I did the video, other people posted it too. He's sparring a southpaw that's a switch hitter, and I put out the video, and everybody's seen it. You know, because boxing is small. Let's be real. Boxing is a niche community, so everybody kind of sees the same news or whatever. So Canelo's been sparring with him. This is public knowledge at this point, and nobody batted an eyelash. So I'm not understanding how when Boots spars Canelo, it's all of a sudden blasphemy. But literally, your boy Ego doing videos showing you Canelo was working with Darrell Val Saint, who's also black. Nobody had smoke for him. Nobody was mad at Darrell Val Saint. Nobody got angered. And I made the video, like I said, literally in the title says Canelo Alvarez's black sparring partner leaked, right? Nobody had no problems whatsoever that Val Saint was working with Canelo. Another frequent collaborator that's black is Rashidi Ellis and his brother, Ronald Ellis, who've been sparring with Canelo Alvarez. Again, the Bud Buddies, they didn't say nothing about Val Saint. They didn't say nothing about the Ellis brothers or the plethora of different blacks that Canelo has sparred in the past. So fear makes people do all kinds of crazy things. And that's what it's looking like for a lot of people, like the Bud Buddies. You fear that Canelo is a good look. There's no way. That's why, for me, this is just a dumb conversation. It's a shame that I even have to get on here and break it down. It really is. It's a shame that I have to even break this, like, simple stuff down. Boots didn't do anything wrong. And the reality is, they're currently in boxing. There's a couple different reasons you could be mad at or frustrated with Boots, but this ain't one of them. This ain't one of them, right? There's other questionable things about how he's moving his career and decisions he's made and how they come out that you could truly, like, I got a bone to pick with Boots. But to be mad because he's doing his job and sparring with Canelo because he's a black man, you're an idiot, bro. And it shows me you've probably never been inside of a boxing gym. You definitely haven't lived in a boxing gym because this is everyday stuff. This is like regular, routine, standard issue that fighters fight. And even Canelo, I'm not mad at Canelo, bro. I'm not. The only thing I'm mad at Canelo for is not fighting David Benavidez. But I'm not mad that he got, you're fighting, okay, Turkey's against you. Some of the commentary crew probably against you. You want to win the fight. You enlist the services of somebody who's like a younger version of Crawford. Not entirely. They don't fight exactly alike, but that's anybody. You're never going to find an actual doppelganger in sparring where this is Gemini man and he does everything exact, because then there's little things like experience, right? Experience. You can't duplicate someone's experience. You can have, this guy has power, my sparring partner has power, but if this guy got 80 fights, this guy only has 14, they both have power, but they don't have the same level of experience. Or this new 14-0 guy that has power, he's never been a champion. This person's a multi-time champion. So that's sparring in general. You're not going to be able to find an exact match where everything is verbatim, but you want the look. Again, I know for a fact a lot of these false prophets have never been in a boxing gym, because you would know this stuff. This is common knowledge, right? You just want a similar look. I've seen people getting mad saying, oh, Boots, he can't do what Crawford does. Bro, you're trying to get work in and you're trying to ready yourself for an event, a moment in time, right? So you get the big guns out. I need somebody who's bulked up, who's big. Boots is definitely that. Boots definitely got some size. Look, he looked bigger than Canelo, and he coming from 47. This is a beautiful match for him to get some work. Somebody who's young, hungry, undefeated, bigger than you, because Crawford looks a little bit taller, and he's a switch hitter, and he got skills. I have no problem with this. So yeah, it was confusing that people were trying to turn this into something that it don't need to be, and acting like Boots betrayed Bud and they're no longer supporting him. I mean, this is corny, bro. If this is how you think, you're corny, bro. Straight like that. This is straight up corny. And again, you got to ask yourself, from these fake pro-blacks, people who are pro-black or whatever, and they're trying to out-black you, then my question is this. Why not support Boots for getting a payday and getting a wealth of knowledge from sparring? Why would it instantly be negative? That's my question. I really want to know that. The first thing you think of is like, oh man, he went to help the Mexican fighter. He's a traitor. Like, what? Why not congratulate him? Like, okay, he's moving up. Canelo thought of him. He's moving up, and he's obviously on somebody's radar because Canelo worked with his brother in the past too. And that's the other thing. The reality is these dudes that are perpetuating this, a lot of them don't really know boxing because one, this picture just came out, but we been knew that Canelo had sparred with Jaron Ennis and his brother, right? You heard people from Philly like Cool Boy Fulton who been told you this was the case. And then now you have these like shock jock content creators and fake pro-black people who are trying to turn this into, you know, something catastrophic. In reality, this is probably an old picture, not really recently. You just don't know enough to know that this is a dated picture. You know what I mean? And people are trying to do this fake outrage stuff on Boots Ennis. And it's just, it's like, wow. I really, when I put out my video, I really didn't expect that people would try to come for the boy like that. Right? I really didn't. And here's the other thing with these fake pro-black people, right? Look at the patterns. A lot of these fake pro-black content creators in boxing, they'll say Boots is a traitor, Boots is a coon, and Boots is breaking code. But they have no problem hating on Gervonta Davis, who's a black man. And this is well before he announced he was fighting Jake Paul. So you can't say, oh, it's because he's fighting Jake Paul. Because they were hating on him before the Jake Paul fight was known about, right? They were saying Tank don't want to fight black people. Then he fought Frank Martin. Then he fought Lamont Roach. I thought Tank don't want to fight black people. Then they said Tank had tax problems. Tank got baby mama problems. He putting hands on her, glorifying all of his like outside the ring antics and run-ins with the law. I thought you was pro-black. Why are you trying to make an unfortunate situation with Tank even messier? And it doesn't stop there. A lot of these dudes, they happen to like select fighters like Devin Haney. I guarantee you a lot of people who are pushing this, content creators, fans or whatever, a lot of them are Haneyacks. They put smut on Brian Norman's name though. A black man from Atlanta, from a black city. Talking about, oh, why you ain't take the VADA test? He ain't never popped dirty though. So you can say whatever you want. Canelo did pop dirty. We all know. I gave Canelo the business for popping dirty and eating the meat or whatever, clenbuterol. But Brian Norman hasn't. So why would the Haneyacks look at Brian Norman, a black man from a black city, Atlanta, and he's never failed a drug test, and then go at him and his daddy and talk about why you ain't taking the test? What do you have to hide? You're a cheater and stuff like that. And he's black. Or the Haneyacks go at Shakur, say he didn't want to take the deal. They go at Tank. Half of who the Haneys have ever went at, they were calling Gary Russell, Gary Cap Russell, right? I thought you was pro-black. Everybody that Bill Haney and Devin Haney went at has mostly been black outside of T.O. and Ryan Garcia probably. When Jalil Hackett, another black man, when he lost, right, Devin Haney got on social media and was laughing at him. When Dillian White, another black man, just got beat and knocked out in the first round by Moses Atuma. Devin Haney brought it back up and tweeted laughing at him. This is a black person who's actively targeting other blacks in their failed moments when they lose. Jaleel Hackett talking ish to Richardson Hitchens, talking bad on Tank, passing around Tank's mugshot. And conveniently, these fake pro-black channels and content creators, they turn a blind eye to all that. They never see it when it's coming from the Haney camp, when it's Devin Haney hating on black people, other black fighters, or Bill Haney. All of a sudden, they don't see that. They only see it when Boots is working with Canelo or Tank did this. Like, come on, bro. So even if you're pro-black, you're not even consistent. You're not even consistent enough to be respected. The only way a person or people would respect it is if you had a rule and all the way across the board, that rule was like followed. But that's not the case. These guys have their favorites. They'll like, maybe they like Shakur Stevenson, but then they hate Floyd Schofield. He's black too. And they'll be like, oh, Floyd Schofield's a liar. And then they pick a side, blah, blah, blah. So let's talk about code and keeping on code, because half of the people who are preaching this stay on code stuff, they don't stay on code. They beef with other black content creators and they target other black fighters if it's not the particular black fighters that they like. So that's not pro-black, bro. All your ops is black. How is that pro-black? So for multiple reasons, the Boots slander because he worked with Canelo sounds dumb. Now, what is sparring? Sparring is training. Sparring is preparing for a fight. So people are attempting to be mad at Jaron Ennis for helping Canelo prepare for a black fighter in a upcoming fight, right? He's training with them. He probably sparred him. They're exchanging knowledge, so people are mad. Again, I've already expressed Canelo's been sparring with black people like the Ellis brothers and Val Saint. Y'all didn't say nothing about that because you don't know boxing and you didn't care. You only cared that it's Boots. And you're trying to make it into like some shock jock controversy. The other issue is you're preparing a person for a fight, so that makes you a traitor and a coon and treasonist, whatever, right? But what about a trainer? Just think about what I'm saying. That's all I ask. Give me a fair shake. I promise it'll make sense. And this is a freestyle video. You notice there's no cuts. I ain't made one mistake. I'm perfect. I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. A lot of other content creators, they got to punch in. They got to do cuts. They need a teleprompter. They're looking at cue cards. They're stammering and stuttering, trying to get to the content. I'm perfect. I've been doing this. This is easy work. I'm Floyd Mayweather, TBEGO. I ain't made one mistake. This video been going on over 20 minutes, and I ain't made one mistake. I don't have no notes, no show notes, no teleprompter. I'm just giving you boxing work. And if you respect real boxing work, we gonna stand up for black issues, but the real black issues, not this fake contrived stuff like, oh, Boots is a traitor and all this type of stuff, right? But let's talk about training. Boots helped Canelo prepare for a fight. So people are saying he's a traitor because he's helping a Mexican fighter, blah, blah, blah. Stupid. Because what about actual trainers? What do I mean? No problem. I'm glad you asked. So Andre Ward, he's black and white. He's biracial, right? But a black man, nonetheless. And he was fighting Kovalev, who's arguably definitely racist. I think he's racist, right? Look it up. Who was Kovalev's trainer? Oh, yeah, former fighter John David Jackson. Ain't he black? Ain't he black? So Instead of being mad at Jaron Boots Ennis, you're going to have to go. That's why I say consistency. You don't really know boxing because you're going to have to go through a long list of black people who helped non-black people prepare for other black people. That's one. John David Jackson, a former fighter, right? We ain't done. I can keep going. I'm perfect. My record is perfect. Who trained Oscar De La Hoya from 2001 to 2006? Okay. Floyd Mayweather Sr., one of the greatest trainers in boxing history. Floyd Mayweather Sr. trained Oscar De La Hoya between 2001 and 2006. And he stopped training him when De La Hoya was about to fight his son in 2007 because he wasn't going to train De La Hoya for his own baby, his own son, his own seed, right? So let's talk boxing. 2001 to roughly 2006 before the Mayweather fight. De La Hoya's Mexican-American, Canelo's Mexican. So wasn't your boy Oscar, wasn't he fighting Bernard Hopkins, a black man, during those times? Right here? Huh? During those dates? Didn't Floyd Sr. train Bernard Hopkins from Philly, just like Jaron Ennis, for this fight? That's a black dude. Oh, Shane Mosley, wasn't Floyd Sr. the trainer? So this is what I'm talking about. So throughout boxing history, we've seen black people work with other people to get a common goal accomplished, right? This is nothing new. Floyd Sr. trained a Mexican-American Oscar De La Hoya, and some of his opponents were black, like B-Hop. So is Floyd Mayweather Sr. cooning and a traitor because he helped prepare a Mexican-American boxer and Olympic gold medalist like Oscar De La Hoya and got paid to go against Bernard Hopkins? Like, you see how stupid this sounds, this argument? You're basically saying that Floyd Sr. should have trained B-Hop because it's black on black. I'm black, y'all. I'm bliggity black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all sound stupid, bro. And the real issue is there are real life, like old media, crooked. You know what they do. The resistance. There are real issues with black fighters where they ain't not getting the proper narratives. They're not getting the proper write-ups. They're not getting the proper placement on pound for pound list. There are real life issues with blacks. And y'all bring this week to my desk. Oh man, I'm mad at Boots. I can't support Boots because he's working with Canelo to thwart Bud Crawford. This is so stupid. So stupid. And again, he has no allegiance to Crawford, which was my first point. They're not buddies. They're not friends. Like, what do you think Boots owes Crawford? Just because they got black skin, he's supposed to pass up an opportunity that's good for his career where he can learn? That makes him a traitor and all these like nasty names y'all calling him. Like, y'all sound utterly ridiculous, and it'll be better when these people are out of boxing. So if you support that and you don't have no brain to understand this is a job, this is a business, you got to look out for yourself. It's a nasty business at that. So ain't nobody going to help you out. You got to take opportunities when they come. There's been so many fighters historically who have gotten opportunities and helped people from all walks of life in terms of prepare. And they're not looking at like, oh, I want to help this Mexican fighter train because he's fighting a black person, right? That's what I'm saying. These people are corrupting boxing. These false prophets, they're hurting the sport of boxing because this is every day. Like, for example, if you are about to fight Floyd Mayweather, you're not going to get no black sparring partners. It don't matter if you black or not. You're not going to get somebody to try to emulate a Floyd Mayweather style. You're going to just fight all, like, you're Mexican, you're going to prepare with only Mexican people, even though Floyd don't fight like this Mexican dude or this dude from Argentina. This is just regular everyday boxing stuff. That's why it was shocking to see some of you guys attempt to try to spin it and turn it on Jaron Ennis like he sold out some kind of way. So for me, this shows fear. Only fear makes people do insecure things like this and try to turn it into something it's not, right? Pure fear. And I could give you guys example after example of how this just looks entirely too stupid. That's why it's rather shocking that you even have impressionable fans that would go along with this. That's how I know you don't know nothing about boxing, because this is like everyday stuff, bro. Like David Lemieux fought Curtis Stevens, a black man. He got a black wife though. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we supposed to act like David Lemieux is the ops because he fought a black dude and knocked him out crazy? Like, come on, bro. This is boxing. There are racial issues, and we expose those right here on my channel. I ain't never shied away from that. But to try to conflate and turn everything into the wrong situation, you sound stupid, bro. And you clearly don't understand how boxing works. Another example would be, I don't even think Crawford himself is tripping. He's his own fighter. You want to train with Boots, whatever. I think Crawford is man and professional enough to understand that. How could Crawford be mad? And Crawford would be silly if he got mad, unless you had some kind of relationship that we don't know with Boots. But I doubt it if Boots was saying he wanted to fight you, right? But here's another example. I told you, I'm a brainiac. Boxing's encyclopedia. I don't make mistakes. I got this. Another reason why this sounds entirely stupid. Look on your screen. Christian Mbili, undefeated black man, right? You see him. You see that nose, black. Guess who he's fighting on the Canelo Crawford card? Just guess. Let's see who knows their boxing before I show you. So you have a black man, which wide nose, breathing all the white man's air. And guess who he's fighting? Lester Martinez from Argentina. And guess who trains Mr. Lester Martinez from Argentina? Oh, he's from Guatemala. He's from Guatemala. My bad. So Mr. Lester Martinez is fighting a black fighter. And guess who his trainer is? Brian Bomac McIntyre, Terence Crawford's trainer. So are any of these fake pro-black dudes mad at Bomac, who's definitely, Bomac's first big fighter was obviously Terence Crawford? Are any of y'all mad at Bomac for training a Guatemalan fighter, Lester Martinez, facing off against? You see how stupid this looks? So there's Bomac, there's Lester Martinez, and there's Crawford. And they repping the flag. They repping the Guatemalan flag, right? They all in on this guy. They feel he's ready for a bigger name, like Mbili, right? And he trained by a black fighter. No, ain't nobody slighting Bomac, saying he breaking code, calling him a coon. None of it. That's why I say you're not even consistent. These dudes don't even have consistent rules. Nobody is mad at Bomac. Nobody is treating him like Jaron Ennis, and he's happy to be training this other dude. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys, I don't know who raised you or what happened in your life for you to come up with these talking points, but you sound stupid. These two are fighting. You see it on the screen. Christian and Billy. There's nothing wrong with Bomac training his guy, because before it was Mbili, Bomac had faith in this dude, and Crawford had faith in this dude. And here's the other thing. Speaking of Lester Martinez, Crawford was sparring with him, right? So he identifies as Latino, and he was sparring with Crawford. So that it proves this is how stupid these dudes are. Crawford was sparring with a guy who's Latino, right? And nobody is calling him a sellout. Nobody's saying he betrayed Canelo, keep it Latino, and why are you working with this person? And he helping Crawford get ready for Canelo. Look, Bud Crawford, he at 168 where Canelo's at, and nobody said anything. That's why I said the Bud buddies must be scared, because they came out with something so outlandish that it don't even make sense. Crawford sparring for Canelo. They didn't think this through. So nobody had a problem. None of these fake pro-black dudes had a problem with a black man getting it in, pause, with a fighter that's Latino to prepare for a Latino fighter he finna fight in the same division. This dude got cracks, and look, people are saying, oh, it's the secret weapon and all this type of stuff. Remember that? So Bud can have a secret weapon. Let's get this straight. Bud can work with a 168-pound secret weapon that's Latino, but then Canelo, who's Latino, he can't work with a secret weapon ninja. That's what y'all telling me. Don't even make sense. And I fully exposed it in this video. So please leave me alone with all this Boots broke code and how could he. It's his job. He got the call. Canelo's a legend. He's trying to become a legend. You take the call, period. And I hope I made myself clear. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.